Hey math friends! We're back in the world of fractions, and today we're going to focus on putting fractions on a number line. Fractions are numbers, they just fall between our whole numbers. So we're going to talk about how to figure out how to plot a fraction on a number line. So here's my beautiful number line. It goes all the way from 0 to 1, and we're going to talk about fractions that fall in between. So let's start with the fraction 1/2. Let me find my marker. Where's my marker? Oh, here it is. I did not mean to come unprepared to our video. Okay, so let's talk about the fraction 1/2, okay? When you look at the fraction 1/2, I'm just going to write it down here. This fraction says that your whole has 2 pieces in it, right? Total. And that we have 1 piece with us. So 2 pieces total in the whole. 1 piece maybe is shaded in if you were drawing a picture of it. So how would that look on a number line? Well, first thing I got to do is get my 2 pieces. So if I draw a line right here, watch, I have 1 piece, 2 pieces. So I have my 2 in my half because I have 2 pieces. And then I'm just going to count to 1. So I go from 0 to 1. So that's 1/2. If I go again, one more, and I go right up here, I'm at 2 halves. Because now I have 2 of my 2 pieces. I have 1, 2 of my 2 pieces. Okay, and you all, that makes sense because we know that when the top and bottom numbers are the same in a fraction, but it's the same as 1 whole. Okay, all right, so that's where 1/2 would be, and that makes sense because this point is about halfway between 0 and 1. All right, so let me erase, and let's put some different fractions on here. So what's really important when you're putting fractions on a number line is to know that the denominator is your number of pieces in your whole, and that's the number of spaces you're going to have on your number line. So let's go ahead and let's try 1/3. Let's say we want to put 1/3 on a number line. Well, look at this denominator. The denominator is 3, so that means there's going to be 3 pieces in my whole. Okay? So I'm going to kind of guesstimate where I would go. Let's say that's 1 piece. That's 2 pieces. And that's 3 pieces. So I have 3 pieces in my whole. They want me to label the 1/3. So I go 1. This would be 1/3. If I go another one, this would be 2/3. And if I go another one, this would be 3/3. And that makes sense because 3/3 is 1 whole. Okay? So my denominator is going to be thirds no matter what because my denominator is thirds here, my denominator is thirds here, and thirds here. It's always going to be thirds because I have 1, 2, 3 pieces in my whole. Let's try another one. Free music again today. You guys are so lucky. All right, let's try. It's kind of messy, but you got it. It's still my number line from 0 to 1. Let's try 2/6. Okay? Remember, the denominator is the number of pieces in my whole. So that means I have to make 6 pieces in my whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces in my whole. Let's start labeling them. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and then 1 whole is the same as 6/6. So they wanted me to label 2/6. There it is. All right, let's do a little bit more practice. I'm going to draw a number line, and we'll see if you all can figure out what my denominator would be for this number line. All right, let's draw it on out here. I've got a 0. I'm going to go 0 to 1. See if you can figure out my denominator. My denominator is my bottom number. That's how many pieces in my whole. How many pieces were in my whole? There were 5 pieces in my whole. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces in my whole, so my denominator has to be a 5. All right, let's start labeling them. This would be 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. Okay, so my point is at 3/5. This is how I do a little chant to help me remember how to put fractions on a number line. And it's mainly about the denominator being the bottom number, telling you how many pieces you'll have in your number line. So it says fractions on a number line, count the spaces, not the lines. That tells you the denominator, the bottom number. See you later. So I'll say it one more time. It's fractions on a number line, count the spaces, not the lines. Okay? That tells you the denominator, the bottom number. See you later. Count the spaces. We always count these spaces as one of our pieces. This is 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece. We don't count those little tick marks as to figure out our denominator because that's always going to be 1 off. We always count the spaces. Those are like our pieces in our whole. So let's go over one more thing. Let's say you have a number line. Hopefully you're better at drawing a number line than I am. That one's kind of crazy. And let's say it goes past the number 1. Let's say it goes from 0, 1, 2, maybe even goes on to 3 and 4. What do fractions on those number lines look like? Well, you're still doing the number of pieces in one whole. For example, if I divide this up and divide this up, I'm not counting everything in this whole picture because there's actually 2 wholes in this picture. The denominator is how many pieces in one whole. So I can look at this whole and I can look at this whole, but I can't count them all together because that's not how many pieces in one whole. This is actually 2 wholes. So let's look at one whole. Ignore that. Let's just look at this one whole from 0 to 1. There are 1, 2, 3 pieces from 0 to 1. So that's going to be thirds. I ignore everything up here because I only am looking at one whole. Okay, now let's look between 1 and 2. Ignore everything before it. Ignore the 0 to 1 because I'm only looking at one whole at a time. This is 1, 2, 3. This is also thirds. Okay, this picture shows thirds. It does not show sixths. The reason why it doesn't show sixths is if you say sixths, well, you're counting 2 wholes. And you only count one whole at a time. The denominator is how many pieces are in one whole, not several wholes, okay? So let's look at another example. Let's say I have a number line like this. It goes from 0, let's say it goes to 1, 2, 3. Let's say it's split up like this. I'll take it all the way to 4, why not? I know it's not very even, I'm sorry. So if I'm trying to figure out the denominator, I count the spaces, right? Fractions on a number line count the spaces, not the lines. However, I can't count all of these spaces because there are 4 holes in this picture. I need to count the spaces for one of the holes. So let's just look at 0 to 1. How many spaces between 0 and 1? 1, 2 spaces. So guess what my denominator is? It's a 2. Let's look between 1 and 2. I can't look above or below it because I only want to look at this one hole between 1 and 2. 1, 2. Denominator 2. Let's look at 2 and 3. 1, 2. 3 and 4. 1, 2. My denominator is 2 between every hole. My denominator is not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's not going to be 8 because this is several holes. Okay, so I only look between one of the holes. Now let's go back to simple. Let's go back to 0, a number line that has 0 to 1. Now remember, this is 0 to 1, so this is just one hole. Since this is only one hole, I can count everything, every space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My denominator is 8 because there are 8 pieces between 0 and one hole. All right, guys, we're going to do a lot more practice with fractions on a number line, but this will give you a really good head start. I'm so proud of you guys. I can't wait to see ya.